In the heart of downtown Chicago stood the Magnolia Grand Hotel, a towering monument of elegance and history. Built in the early 1900s, its halls whispered of grandeur, opulence, and the occasional scandal. Room 713, however, carried a darker reputation. The room was infamous among staff and guests alike. Tales of flickering lights, strange noises, and inexplicable cold spots were common. Some claimed to have seen a shadowy figure lurking near the window. But for Daniel Cross, a pragmatic businessman from New York, ghost stories were merely a way to entertain children and attract tourists. On a chilly November evening, Daniel checked into the hotel for a 3-day business trip. The receptionist handed him the keycard to room 713 with an almost imperceptible hesitation. "Enjoy your stay, Mr. Cross," she said, forcing a smile. As Daniel approached the 7th floor, the atmosphere shifted. The hallway was unusually quiet, and the air felt heavier. Dismissing the feeling, he inserted the keycard and pushed open the door. The room was immaculate, a king-sized bed with crisp white sheets, a plush armchair by the window, and an ornate mirror above a mahogany desk. Yet something about the room felt off. The first night after a long day of meetings, Daniel returned to room 713. As he prepared for bed, he noticed the mirror above the desk. It was unusually large, its gilded frame adorned with intricate carvings. When he moved closer, he thought he saw a shadow dart across the reflection. Turning quickly, he found nothing. "Must be the jet lag," he muttered, shaking his head. That night, Daniel awoke to a soft knock. It wasn't at the door. It was coming from inside the room. Sitting up, he scanned the darkened space, heart pounding. The knocking grew louder, now seeming to come from the wardrobe. Summoning his courage, Daniel approached the wardrobe. He swung the doors open, finding only neatly arranged hangers. But as he closed it, a whisper brushed past his ear. "Leave." He froze. His rational mind screamed that it was a trick of the wind, but the icy breath on his neck was undeniable. He turned on every light in the room and didn't sleep a wink. The second night, determined not to let his imagination get the better of him, Daniel returned to the hotel after another exhausting day. He requested a room change, but the receptionist informed him the hotel was fully booked. Back in room 713, the unease grew. The air seemed colder, and the shadows cast by the lamp danced unnaturally. He decided to distract himself with work, spreading papers across the desk. As he worked, he noticed movement in the mirror. At first it was subtle, a flicker of something in the corner. But then, clear as day, a pale hand pressed against the glass from the other side. Daniel bolted from his chair, heart racing. The hand vanished, leaving only his wide-eyed reflection staring back at him. "Get a grip, Daniel," he whispered to himself, though his hands trembled. At midnight the room grew unbearably cold. His breath formed visible clouds, and the lights began to flicker. Then the wardrobe creaked open. Slowly. From the darkness within, a figure emerged, a woman in tattered 1920s attire. Her face was ashen, her eyes hollow. She pointed to the mirror and whispered in a mournful tone, "Help me." Daniel staggered back, tripping over the chair. The woman moved closer, her footsteps echoing like thunder in the silent room. "Who are you?" Daniel gasped. But instead of answering, she vanished. The investigation. The next morning, Daniel demanded answers. The hotel manager, an older gentleman named Mr. Grayson, seemed reluctant but eventually relented. "Room 713 has history," Grayson admitted. "In 1928, a young woman named Evelyn Harper stayed here. She was a singer on the cusp of fame, but she was found dead in the wardrobe, her throat slit. It was ruled a suicide, but many believed she was murdered." Daniel felt a chill run down his spine. "And the mirror?" Grayson hesitated. "It's said to be the original mirror from the room, a gift from Evelyn's lover. Some say her spirit is trapped within it, unable to move on." Determined to uncover the truth, Daniel visited the local library. Old newspaper archives confirmed Evelyn Harper's tragic story. Witness accounts mentioned a jealous lover who vanished shortly after her death. The final night that evening, Daniel prepared himself. He placed a small recorder on the desk and sat before the mirror. "Evelyn," he called softly, "if you're here, I want to help you." For a moment there was only silence. Then the mirror began to frost over, words forming in the condensation. "He killed me." "Who?" Daniel asked. Before he could get an answer, the lights went out. The room plunged into darkness, save for the faint glow of the mirror. Evelyn appeared once more, her face etched with sorrow. "He's here," she whispered. The wardrobe slammed open, and a new figure